So today we continue the story of Jamal and Bibi, and remember they're on two different boats to their parents, and it's quite concerning for the two young children as they make their journey across oceans to their new home in Australia. So let's find out what happens next on in Boy Overboard, chapter 24. We're sailing to Australia and things aren't so good. The deck is very crowded and everyone has to sit squashed together. This makes it a bit unpleasant when people throw up. Luckily, they mostly do it over the side. Omar's been throwing up quite a bit. It will get worse than this, he says between vomits, when the waves get really big and you'll both be chucking too. So far, Bibi and I haven't. And I think it's because we're used to travelling inside Dad's taxi. That used to wallow and roll from side to side as well. I'm hungry though, groans Bibi, slumping against me. Poor kid, we haven't eaten since last night, and it's late afternoon now. All we've had is half a vegetable tin of water. I'm lucky I don't feel hungry because the stink of the diesel engine has taken away my appetite. Plus, there isn't any shade on this boat and I've got a headache from the sun. But most of all, I'm missing Mum and Dad. I never feel hungry when I've got a headache and I'm missing people. Two of the sailors are dishing out noodle soup from a metal pot. We've been in the queue for ages, slowly moving along the splintery wooden deck. On our bottoms, there's now only one person in front of us. There's a problem though. The sailor with the ladle is the one with the yellow overalls. I'm worried that when he sees Bibi, he might not give her a proper serving. The person in front of us is completely covered in a dark blanket. They hold out their vegetable tin for some soup. They're not close enough to the pot, and the sailor grabs their arm and pulls them closer. I stare in alarm. The blanket is dangling in the gas flame under the pot. Nobody seems to have noticed. Flames are shooting up the edge of the blanket. Fire, I yell. The sailors freeze in shock. I know why. We're on a wooden boat in the middle of the ocean. There's a gas canister right next to the burning blanket. I drag the blanket off the person and fling it onto the deck, jumping on it until all the flames are out. Bibi helps me. Then I pick up the blanket and hand it back to the person, and I freeze in shock myself. It's a teenage girl. All she's wearing is shorts and a t-shirt with a sparkly pattern on the front. Her arms are bare, her legs are bare, her hair is completely uncovered, and she's sticking out in all directions. She's wearing makeup, she's got black stuff on her eyelashes, and her lips are green. I've never seen anything like it in my life. The sailor probably hasn't either, because he drops the ladle into the soup. She turns to the sailor and holds out her vegetable tin, and the sailor looks her up and down, scowls and waves her away. He shouts something at her in a language I don't understand, but I know what he means. No food! The teenage girl opens her mouth to protest, but both sailors are waving her away now. The other one does a mime. It's about people who start fires do not get food. Hey, yells Bibi at the sailor in yellow. That's not fair. You're the one who started the fire. I groan inside. Bibi's right, but I know what's going to happen now. The sailor starts yelling even louder and waving me and Bibi away too. I take a step towards the sailor to mime to him. Why, that is totally unfair. The teenage girl grabs my arm and she's already grabbed Bibi's. Please don't, she says. It's not worth it. It's much more important for you to get to Australia safely and find your parents. I take a deep breath. The smell of the soup suddenly makes me feel very hungry. She's right, thanks, I say. Anyway, says the teenage girl, her green lips curling, as she throws a contemptuous glance at the sailors. I bet they didn't wash their hands before they opened the soup packet. I like her already. The teenage girl invites Bibi and me to sit on her blanket, and we find a spot easily because all the people around us move back. I'm not sure if it's because they feel sorry for us or because they don't want to be sitting too close to a person with green lips and bare legs. A woman next to us offers me a tin of soup. I'm about to take it for Bibi, and then I see the woman has 3 small children. They don't look hungry now, but who knows when there will be more soup. I hesitate, then give the woman a grateful smile and shake my head. Luckily, Bibi doesn't see. She's looking over at the soup pot with a mixture of longing and hatred. The teenage girl pats Bibi's arm. That camel snot needs someone to teach him a lesson, says the girl, glaring over at the horrible sailor. Starting with the news that yellow is a very unfashionable colour. I grin despite my headache and sunburn. I'm Rashida, says the teenage girl. We tell her our names. Bibi looks at her puzzled. Hey, Rashida's a boy's name, she says. Rashida is tightening the laces of her construction worker boots. My brother died when he was a baby, she says. So when I came along, I got his name. What horrible parents, says a voice. You must hate them. It's Omar, the kid who thinks he owns half my soccer ball, back from leaning over the side. Sadness stabs me in the chest as he mentions parents. Rashida looks up at him. Her green lips are quivering. I don't hate them, she says. I love them very much. They saved for years for this trip, and when they found out they could only afford 1 ticket, they gave it to me. She blinks a few times, and I don't think it's the makeup getting in her eyes, because I'm blinking myself and I'm not wearing makeup. Now leave us alone, said Rashida to Omar. I whisper. I'm afraid he's actually with us. Omar squeezes himself into a corner of the blanket and starts fiddling with a bit of fluff. I hope he's planning to collect a large wad of it and stuff it in his mouth. Do you have anything to eat, says Rashida. No, I say. Sorry, our parents have got it all. Miserably, I look at the horizon for the millionth time. Still no sign of the other boat. My parents have got it all too, says Omar. Rashida unzips a large pink suitcase and she takes out a plastic bottle of water and a can of sardines. She opens a can and gives me and Bibi and Omar a sardine each. Thanks, I say. I'm starving. I gulp my sardine down. Rashida takes a swig of water and passes the bottle to me. I don't want to tell her that I've never met anyone like her before, and not just because all the teenage girls in our village stay indoors. I don't, in case it embarrasses her. I can see Bibi is in trouble. She really is hungry, but she hates sardines. Swallow it whole in a mouthful of water, says Rashida. You won't taste it as much. Bibi follows her advice. Thanks, says Bibi. I'm glad we met you. So am I, says Rashida. You're a nice kid. My sister's really funny too, says Omar, and she can play the nose flute. We all ignore him. When I get to Australia, I say to Rashida, my parents will repay you for the food, but for now, I'd like to give you something. I pick up the soccer ball. Hey, half of that's mine, says Omar. I show Rashida how I can keep the ball bouncing from knee to knee while I'm sitting down. Would you like me to teach you that? I ask her. She grins back and nods. I would, she says. Nothing like learning new skills to pass the time on a long and boring sea voyage. Or it won't be boring if we're attacked by sharks, says Omar gloomily, or whales, or if a huge storm blows up and giant waves smash onto the deck, or if a typhoon... Omar, says Bibi, shut up. Nobody says anything for a few moments while we think about it and what Omar has just said, and then Rashida sits back and bends her knees. Come on, she says, show me how to do it. I do gratefully. Bibi helps me. Bouncing a ball between your knees isn't just skill, it's a really good way of forgetting your fears. For a while, anyway. After a bit, Rashida takes her eye off the ball and peers at me and Bibi. You two are sunburnt, she says. Here, Put this on. She unzips her suitcase and hands me a bottle of sun protection cream. I'm sunburnt too, says Omar. Sorry, says Rashida. I didn't notice under all the dirt. I'm only half listening to what they're saying because I'm peeking into Rashida's suitcase. I know it's rude, but I can't help myself. Our survival could depend on whether she's got more sardines. She hasn't. All I can see in amongst the clothes is a big knotted bag of something, and something I realise with a jolt of excitement that is more precious to us right now than gold or Manchester United tickets. It's flour. I hope this works. The sailors haven't stopped me so far, but if things go bad, I'm worried they could turn violent. Luckily, the nasty one's asleep. The other three are crowded around me, shining their torches, fascinated by what I'm doing. I don't think they've ever seen anyone making bread on a diesel engine before. I explain to them the best I can with sign language that bread usually goes inside an oven and that I've made these loaves even flatter than usual so I can drop them over the top of the engine. Also, I want this bread to cook quickly because I've left Bibi up on deck. Rashida's there, but Bibi will be worried if she wakes up and I'm gone. It's really uncomfortable sleeping sitting up, and you wake up a lot. Please, I have to mime yet again. Don't touch it yet. The sailors are almost as impatient with fresh baked bread as little sisters. I hope I didn't put in too much salt. It's too hard to judge when you're used to the dry stuff. We're in trouble if I mix too much seawater with fresh water, and kneading the dough in a plastic bucket by moonlight isn't the best way to get the stretchiness right. It's not ready, I mime to the sailors with even bigger hand movements. I hope that I don't make them cross. It was really good of Rashida to let me use the flour, and really smart of her parents to make her bring it in case of an emergency. Talking of an emergency, this area here under the deck is awash with water. It's up to our knees. I hope the boat isn't leaking. I've asked the sailors, but they don't seem to know what I mean. I don't think I'll say anything to Bibi and the others. I don't want to make them anxious. It's hard to digest new baked bread when your stomach is in a knot. My stomach's in a knot. You're a genius, Jamal, says Omar, chewing his breakfast piece of bread. I don't feel like a genius. I feel too seasick. Omar was right. The waves got bigger. And if only the boat would stop going up them and then down them. And if only the sea all around us would stop going up and down too. Bibi clambers over me back from giving some bread to little kids. At least she's not seasick. That's one good thing. The little kids say thank you, says Bibi, and their mum says you are a genius. Omar drags his fishing line out of the water and examines the bait. I could be a genius too if these dumb fish would bite, he mutters. I think they know this isn't squid. I think they know it's blanket fluff. I groan as the boat moves in several directions at once. Poor thing, says Rashida, putting her hand on my forehead. I read somewhere that seasickness is meant to wear off after a day or two. A week more like it, says Omar gloomily. Only 5 days to go, Jamal. I have a horrible feeling he's right. Half the people on the boat have still got it, some worse than me. All over the deck, people are propped up against each other, groaning. Here, says Rashida, adjusting the spare T-shirt of hers. She's nodded on my head to keep the sun off. Have a sip of water. She lifts a vegetable tin to my lips. I'm too sick, says Omar indignantly from under the spare shorts of hers. He's got it knotted on his forehead. Rashida gives him a sip of water too. Bibi gives him a glare. A whiff of vomit and urine hits me, and I struggle to keep the water down. For the millionth time since we set sail, I remind myself why we're doing this. Freezing on a hard deck all night, roasting all day, watching poor little children and old people suffer more than us. Australia. Laughing people, a kind government. Mum and Dad and Dubbo Abattoirs united. I hope we get there soon. And we got up to the end of chapter 27. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed Boy Overboard in the 4 chapters we read. See ya.